Welcome to this DaVinci Resolve Fusion node breakdown. Today's node is the Falloff node. So we're going to jump into Fusion, and we've got a little setup here. And if you remember the other day, we went over the Reflect node. So if I brought in a Reflect node, if you remember right, we had our glancing strength and our face-on strength. And our glancing strength was for the reflection on the outside, and our face-on was for the reflection on the inside. And it works great, but there's a single material input for your primary material. Now, if we wanted to use multiple medias, one for our face-on strength and one for our glancing material and its strength, we can do that using the Falloff node. So let's go ahead and delete this. And first we're going to create a material because we need multiple materials and a different setup for this to work. So first let's go ahead and bring in a Cook Torrents node. And we're going to bring in our media, and let's input that into our diffuse color. Let's input this into our material. And I want to go ahead and offset this material a little bit. There we go. So we've got a material on our sphere. Now, to be able to use the Falloff node, we need multiple materials. So we need one for our face-on material, and we need one for our glancing material. Now, for our glancing material, we want to bring in something that's a little more spherical. And if you remember, we had sphere map. So we can bring in a sphere map, and we can input our material into this sphere map, and we're going to use an HDRI for that. So let's go ahead and bring in our material. So now we've got an HDRI on our little material here. And to be able to use this, remember we need a Reflect node. So let's bring in a Reflect node. And we're going to input that into our background material. Now we need to merge these two together. And to be able to do that, we're going to use that Falloff node that I mentioned. So let's bring in a Falloff node. And we're going to input this into our material. Now the Falloff node has two inputs. Your orange input is your face-on material, which is your material that's going to be in the middle. Your green input is your glancing material, or the reflections on the outside of your little sphere here. So let's bring this into our face-on material, and we can bring our Reflect node into our glancing material. So now you notice we got both materials input. Now on our Falloff node, we have two color variations. We have two-tone and gradient. Under the gradient, all this is doing is creating a gradient of where we bring those two different materials in. So you can see as I change it, it gets stronger. And you can change the colors of these if you want, and change up your gradient. And we can change our fall off of our materials. So now we kind of have that look. Let's make this a little more interesting. Let's go ahead and animate our sphere map so it's actually moving. So let's go ahead and make a keyframe. Let's go at the end, and let's just make this like, I don't know, 20 degrees. So now we've got both moving. There we go. Better. Now your other color variation on your Falloff node is two-tone. And this will give you a little more control on exactly how you get your look to look. So say we wanted this kind of like a marble look. We could change our opacity of our face-on material. We can change the opacity of our glancing material. And then we can go to our cook torrents, and we can mess around with our intensity and roughness so we can get a little shine on there. So now, with the two together, we've kind of got that look going on. And we can come in here and mess with our fall off a little more to brighten that up a little bit. So it looks a little more like a marble. And there we go. And within your fall off node, remember, we can always change these colors if we need to change them. And you can change the glancing color as well if you want to change that. And down here we have our material ID, where we can assign a new material ID to our overall material. So that is the Falloff node. I will see you in the next node breakdown.